Get a word in.
What you're saying
is
not saying that God doesn't kill babies. Is what your argument is that God doesn't ask humans to kill babies. That's
exactly, yeah. And that is a big difference. You know why?
Part of a Jewish tribe.
Do you know why? Do you know why that is a big difference?
I'm just distinguishing it.
Because you see, at the end of the day, we all die. Yes, we all die. Death, life, and death is in the hands of God, based on our belief, and I'm sure based on your belief as well.
Yeah, that's why
God owns us. Yes, He is the one who created us. He's our creator. Yes. For us to complain that, oh God, why did you do this? Why did you make us suffer like that? Yes, you wouldn't have existed without Him. So, but God doesn't like injustice. God doesn't like oppression. So anyone...
Didn't you say, hold on a minute, didn't you...
How is He persecuting the innocent?
He says that oppressors
worship me, you will go to hell eternally.
No, wait. When God says that you should worship Him, yes, how is that unjust?
Or you will go to hell and burn eternally.
Yes. Who created you?
That's oppression.
No, it's not oppression. Who created you? Who gave you life?
Do you do this to your
But
children?
who gave you life? Who created you? Would you have existed without God? You wouldn't. Okay? So for you to say that, why would God punish me like that, an eternal life? If you don't believe in God, you shouldn't be worried about hellfire either, right? The fact that you are worried about the consequences, maybe somewhere in there, you might be a believer. I don't know.
Yes. From a God that says you've got free will, but says if you don't do what I say, you're dead. It applies to Christian God as well.
So why would it is basically like a teacher saying that I'm going to give you a test, but I will pass you all. Would you consider that fair?
It's not like saying that at all.
Would you consider that fair? Because for
everybody will die.
For us and for everybody else,
will die.
I agree. So regardless of whether you're an atheist or a believer, that's a fact. That is a fact. This life is a test. Yes. So for you to say, well, I'm not talking. If you're asking me from, you asked me from the perspective of Islam, from the Islamic perspective, and also from the Christian and Jewish perspective. This life is a test. So whatever we do, whether good or bad, there'll be consequence for that.
That's why free will is important.
Consequence for that. Yes. And we have the choice to select between what God has told us to do or reject what He's told us to do. We have the choice as human beings to do that. And that is what free will is. Now you have a free will, I have a free will. No one forced you to come to Speaker's Corner today, but you came.
If I put a gun to somebody's head and says, I'll shoot you in the head if you don't do what I say, that's not free will.
No, that is not free will. Because
he's equating that to hellfire.
Shall I tell you why that is something which is completely different to having a test?
I'd rather a bullet in my head than be...
When you go to give a test, do you go voluntarily or is somebody forcing you at gunpoint? If somebody is going to take you to a test at gunpoint, that is not a test. But the fact that you step into the hole where you're going to give a test voluntarily shows that you are ready and prepared for the test, hence you're going to give it. Now you have 80 years of your life or whatever life you live in this earth. I think that is ample opportunity for you to recognize God. Yes, that is a fair time.
Now,
even after that, if you're going to reject God, then that is something which you with your own free will have done. And if you think there's going to be no consequences, then you're only deluding yourself.
Okay, so if you're not Muslim, it don't help.
Say again?
If you're not Muslim,
if you're deliberately rejecting God,
no.
So once the message has come to you,
if you're trying to embrace God, from your opinion,
he's asked me a question. I'm answering him. Yeah, but he asked me the question. Let him ask.
Ask him if a Christian sincerely believes in God.
No. If you're not Muslim,
if you're not a Muslim, means you have rejected Allah. Yes?
So for example, I became a Christian.
Yeah, if you're a Christian, you might accept God, but then you believe in the Trinity, which is shirk. So this will be shirk. And then of course you have to accept all messengers, not just Muhammad. So you accept. So you know, like the Jewish people, they reject Jesus and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Christian people, they reject Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We Muslims, we accept them all as prophets of God. Now we say that if you reject the prophets, and if you reject Allah or you associate with Allah, then you already are not a Muslim. So now you have deliberately rejected God, then you will have consequences for that. Yes, but ultimately we don't say who goes to hell or heaven specifically. That is not something that I have the authority to do so. It is up to God, up to Allah to decide who goes to hell and who goes to heaven. But He has given us conditions what leads to hell, and He's given us condition what leads to heaven, to paradise.
when you send your kids to school,
Yeah.
you give some degree of authority to the.
I'm just
to
gonna
the
step
school
back.
and to the teacher to give detention or whatever. But actually, we come into this world without. We're in the game whether we like it or not, whether we believe in God or go to hell or not, or actually we're not in that game at all. But we haven't got the choice coming into the world.
No, coming into the world, you didn't have a choice. I agree. However, how you live in the world, you had a choice. And that is what you're going to be judged on.
With a gun to your head.
There's no gun to your head.
Eternal fire.
Did somebody put a gun to your head to come to the park?
Eternal fire.
Yeah, there's a consequence of rejecting.
Yeah, if you don't do what I say.
How is that a gun?
The gun to the head.
Okay, so let me get this right. So basically, if your teacher tells you that if you do not study for the test, you're going to fail. Is that a gun to your head?
Not have a gun.
Is that a gun to your head? That you will fail. That you will fail the exam, and the consequence is that you'll have to repeat your class again. Is that a gun to your head?
If you went to
Thank you very much.
If you went to school
Yes?
and the teacher said to you, if you get this test wrong, you'll be burnt in hell eternally, would that be fair?
Okay, so now you have gone from one degree of failing. Wait a minute. A test always has consequence. Whether it is the test in this world, for example, if you go to a test, for example, driving test, yes? The consequences of not passing the test is that you will not be given a license to drive. Now that is a kind of punishment for people who wish to drive.
Can I be given an update on what's being discussed here?
Whether Paul's an apostle.
If you don't pass the test, you'll be run over by a
If Paul
truck.
was an
Say again?
apostle, but we've got...
No, I think this is a false argument.
It's not a false argument. It's very fair.
What we're talking about is the freedom of choice. And if you put a gun to your head or threatened with eternal hell, that is not a free choice.
Okay. Do you actually believe that is a gun to your head?
You're not threatened it, you're promised it, because the wages of sin is death. So God's
By using
original
the word
plan.
promise
Let me
rather
just
than
tell you.
threat.
Let me tell you.
When you're promised
Can I just-
by somebody who is all powerful, then it's a threat.
It's not a someone, it's God.
Do you actually believe that when you do something which is against the law, you should be punished? Do you believe in that principle?
This is I don't.
Not if
think
they're the
this- I don't
terrorists
think
next
you
door.
need to expand.
Even the
different-
terrorists will be punished.
The different types of principles.
No, I'm asking you. In
Yeah,
a
I
law,
know, you
look,
were expanding.
every
I was
system,
trying to
every
just-
system has rules. Yes, whether it is the traffic system or the code of law, which you go to basically settle disputes. Every system has certain laws
Justice is
and
innate in
certain
human
rules and
beings.
regulations. Do you believe that God's system shouldn't have such laws?
Do I believe that got a system?
Yeah.
This is a system I don't believe in.
Ask him about justice.
So if you don't believe it, then why are you worried about the consequences?
Because I'm more about kind of putting the fact that these don't make sense.
Which doesn't make sense. That the law should, that a test should have consequence. That doesn't make sense. Why does it not make sense?
It doesn't make sense. Well, I'm just saying it's not logical.
So
to
because
say
it
that you
doesn't make
have
sense
free-
to
No, logical. It's not logical.
Because it's not logical
I'm using
to
my upper
you.
and my knuckle.
Let him make his
It's
point. Let him make his point.
objective stance. Logic is objective. Like it's
Can
subjectively
I just say, but
filtered. Yeah,
we
of course.
can talk in a logical way.
I'm trying.
And you can make a logical argument against what I'm
When I
saying.
get a chance.
But let's keep it with logic
Yep.
rather than eternal religious logic.
But you're
And what I'm
talking about
saying-
those subjects.
What I'm saying is that it is not a free choice if you have a gun to your
Okay,
head.
It's not a
now
gun
can
to-
please
yeah, go on.
And it's worse than a gun to your head within religion.
Right. So
Nice to see you're on the same side.
So originally, so
In this case, we are on the
always
same
on
team,
the
yeah.
side of God. So originally, God's plan for human beings, who already had an innate sense of justice, I would suggest, is that there would be free will, but there would be no sin. He envisioned or planned for paradise.
He made it happen.
No, that's what he wanted for people. But sin entered the world, and as a result of sin, we are all to be punished because we all sin. So if you hold on, let me please. Could I just finish? If you're telling me that you've never lied, you've never stolen, cheated, hated, lusted. If you like, Steve, it's entirely up to you, darling. But the fact is that if you're telling me that you're a perfect specimen of humanity, and in terms of your fellow human being, you have never sinned against them, then I would say maybe you're a special case. But for the rest of us, everybody knows that they've hated and lusted and been dishonest and dishonoured their parents and all of the things that God doesn't want for us. He wants. So if you
Have you lost touch with the argument?
I don't think she
No,
has.
no, I'm just setting up.
But have you understood the question he's asking?
Yes.
Religion to me.
Punishment is
I know
the
about
eternal punishment is a result of the fall of man from a state of grace to a state of sin.
Because God didn't get what he wanted. How is that
Unnamed
possible?
fruit.
How is it possible?
He already
that
knew.
God can't get what he wants.
Okay, it wasn't.
With no free will, with no free. So if you force somebody, okay, let me answer you, sir. If you force somebody to love you, it's not love. If you force somebody to do their homework and get a degree and it's not of their own volition. So God, no, there's no threat of death. We're all going to die. The point
Okay,
is,
eternal damnation.
okay, then the point is
Eternal
that
damnation.
the point is that
How do
without
you,
free will,
in
you
your
can't
worldview, I believe you're a pantheist, yeah, because we discussed it before.
Oh, so you've got
yes?
a couple of gods
So-
on the back burner.
No, for him the universe is a god.
More than one.
No,
For him the universe,
one.
as,
Pan, many.
All is God.
yeah,
Is what it means.
basically for him the universe is a manifestation of God. That's what they believe.
Pandemonium is many demons.
No,
Yes.
not pantheist.
Exactly.
So what is for you? What is your concept of justice in your worldview? How would you?
I'll explain this.
Yeah,
And is it innate?
I'm saying, for example, let's say there's a drug lord, yes, and he basically lives in a luxurious life. He messed up so many lives himself, but he himself lives in a very peaceful existence, basically. How would you, in your pantheistic worldview, yes, ensure that justice is done in that in that situation? No, don't ask me a question with the question.
No, I asked the question.
No, but I asked you the question. You asked many, I answered already.
No, I asked the question.
Both of you. You haven't answered this sufficiently.
What's your?
Yeah,
Narrow it down to a soundbite, if you may.
How can you say that it is free choice when you are saying, do submit to me or you're eternally damned?
The God of the Bible is not
That you
saying.
haven't
Okay,
No,
the
I've
God
already-
of the
I've
Bible
already
is not
answered
saying
that, yes.
submit. So that's my answer.
Well, he does. Do the will of the Father.
But
Read
he's-
Matthew
let's not
7:21.
submit.
It's just
That's
semantics.
of your-
It's
No,
just
it's
semantics.
of your own free will.
Submit
No,
to
do the
my
will of the
free
Father very
Do
clearly.
you submit to your parents' view when you were a child?
The thing is,
For your own benefit.
This is semantics. Submitting
That's
of
not
your own free
semantics.
will
That's a
is still
point.
submitting.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
The point
I'm
is,
glad you said free will. I'm glad you said that.
Submitting-
Because all this time he has been saying it's against free will. Now he's saying it's free will. Make up your mind, Mr. Pantheist.
Eternal
Choices
damnation.
come-
You just contradicted yourself.
No, I haven't.
You have.
Choices come
You
with
said.
cost.
You said submitting by free will. You just said it.
Choices
Submitting
come with a
by
cost.
free
It's
will,
not
Yes.
free.
submitting
Yes.
to somebody else's
Yes.
will of your free choice is free will.
Thank
but
you.
Not if you are blackmailed.
You're free to go to
There's no
hell as
blackmail. That's a
well.
consequence.
No, it's a threat.
But no one.
Wait, bro. Do you not realize what you just said? That you said if somebody submits by his free will, yes. I think your look. Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Your main contention is this: why would God punish someone eternally? That's your main contention. No. So what is your main
My
contention?
main contention is by putting a threat of eternal damnation if you don't do what I say,
Yeah.
makes it not a free choice.
Why?
That's
Why?
Because it's not free. You're
Okay.
not why.
So basically, like I gave you, I don't think you understood the analogy I gave you earlier. Yes. The only difference in the analogy which I gave you of a student and a test is the degree of the consequence. That's all the differences.
No, it's not. It's not the only difference.
So what's the difference?
As I said to you
Go on.
earlier, the difference is that you or your parents have given authority to that teacher to give you a set of consequences that has been agreed by that within the human realm.
Why did you bring parents in?
Yeah, because your parents give the teacher
Wait.
authority.
Do you?
You're at university.
You know, right now.
Then you've given the university teacher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by free will.
But when you
So
are
wait.
born, you
I don't
did
think he
not.
understands it really.
When you are
You're
born-
missing the
You're
point.
giving
When you're born into this world, you said that we didn't have a choice to be born.
Okay,
Of
first
course
and
not.
foremost, let's take one step at a time because right now you want to go all over the place. Maybe you have realized that what you said is basically nonsensical. When you say by your own will, if you go to attend a test, yes? So for example, right now you could be a student of the Open University, say for example, and you went and attended a test over there, yes? What that means is that you have decided by your own free will to go and submit to the rules of the test, that I will accept the consequence of this test.
Yes.
If I fail, then this will be the consequence.
Yes.
If I pass, this will be the reward.
Yes.
Now you keep mentioning eternal damnation, but you forget the eternal reward as well. No, wait, let me finish. Eternal reward and eternal damnation are a consequence of the test which God has already told you. So it's not like some secret thing that you'll be chucked into hellfire for
know your
no
point
reason
now. I've
at
got what
all.
you're saying.
Now wait. No, let me make this point. In the case of the student who attends a test by his own free will, yes, and he submits to the rules of the test,
Yes.
that he'll accept the consequence, it's by free will.
Yes.
Similarly, you living in this world, wait.
Yeah, go on.
You're living in this world, if you're going to live your entire life of 60, 70, 80 years, whatever it's going to be, yes, at gunpoint, then you would have an excuse on the day of judgment that I submitted to someone who had the gun at my temple, that he could have killed me. But because you do not have such a situation, you live a free life. So you make your choices freely by your own volition. No one's forcing you to do that. When you when you have clearly got the message, and you have come to Speaker's Corner many times, the Muslims have talked to you that when you submit to Allah, this will be the reward. When you reject Allah and His laws, this will be the consequence.
Hashim.
So you know the consequence already. No one is forcing you to go either way. You, by your own decision, by your own free will, have decided to reject the
Can we just
Allah as a-
Can
as
I
a
just
God.
say, his point is that you don't choose to come into the test that is life. So therefore, it's not the same as
You
going for a
haven't given
test
authority.
because you just are born.
No,
But I don't
I
agree
already
with
addressed that. I
Yeah.
said, I agree that you did not have the
But
choice.
your analogy-
You did not have the choice to come to this world.
You have the
but
choice
because,
once you're
look,
of age.
even if he was an ant or came as a horse, he wouldn't have a choice either.
You've
Yes?
got the choice to thrive
Yes.
or to
Whatever you are now is the test.
Look, you used an
Whatever you are now,
analogy
you sound
to make a
Buddhist.
point.
Whatever it
And
means,
that
a human
analogy
being.
is going to university, going to school, and you're giving a degree of your sovereignty to
Yeah.
that teacher to give you a consequence that you do or you don't get it. This is the point that you've just repeated. It's a bad analogy.
Why?
Because when you come into this world, you haven't got a choice about the authority that you're giving away. You're basically under the test of God in your worldview, under the test of God, whether you like it or not, and you have got consequences that you haven't chosen to play the game in. And so the analogy, you may have a point, but the analogy does not work.
Okay, the analogy does work because the reason for you to be in this world and for you to now use your wait a minute.
We're talking logic though, so
the fact
it
that
makes
you're able to rationalize this argument now, even that has been given to you by God. Your existence is for God. Yes? So when God created you, yes, it was for a reason. For you to obey the command of God who created you. Now if you're going to complain to God, why did you create me as a human? What would you like to be created as, if not a human?
No. The issue that you're making is within the internal logic of a monotheistic religion.
which you ascribe to
Which I
though.
don't.
You
No,
said
he
there's
doesn't.
only one God.
No, he
said
believes
Pan is all.
For him, that thing over there, which is material, is God. This road is a God. The whole universe for him is a God. I don't know how they logically identify that, but I wouldn't consider something not
But he's
sentient
dictating
even
the
to be
terms
God.
of logic. So let's tread
But that's not
carefully.
logical to
I
use
know.
sentient beings as God.
I think
Non-sentient
I think
beings
you
even.
find that this is one big quantum field, and there is no distinguishing of energy particles or.
Yeah, but where did they all come from? Where did God come
Nothing
from?
about
Where did your material God come from?
Yeah, it is.
It was created. It's a creation of
Where did the
creation
universe
of the Almighty God.
originate? How did it come to expand? But no, because it's
It's not
expanding.
eternal. No scientist says it's eternal.
Hold on.
No scientist
Not
says
from a
it's eternal.
scientific viewpoint.
In
No,
f-
and not from a
Do
religious
you know
viewpoint.
what? Do you know the laws of thermodynamics doesn't
It's
make it possible
expanding into
for it
what?
to be? Do you know something called entropy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Entropy wouldn't allow the universe to be eternal. Based on the laws of physics of this very universe, it wouldn't be eternal. So don't tell me it's eternal because no scientist, no credible scientist says it's eternal.
They do.
Well, name me one.
Him.
I don't think he's a scientist.
He is now.
He wouldn't have said
But the
eternal.
fact is that it's
analogy doesn't-
expanding. So it's expanding into something as a result of a force at the beginning, which,
Yeah.
goes outwards. So it must have a central point in time.
It must
as
have
well
a
as
begin-
space.
a beginning.
And in the beginning, God said,
every star
Mm-hmm.
that you are in, or every place that you are in the
Yeah.
universe, everything is expanding outward from that.
exactly.
every
So it's
position
not
that you're in,
eternal. There was a.
everything-
Which means
That
at
was
some
the
point it was
beginning
smaller. Now it's
No, what
God
I mean
said
is
so.
that everything is a centre of that expansion.
No,
yeah, but expansion.
no. That's not true. what you
Expansion
said.
actually implies that at some point it wasn't that big. It was smaller than that. Yes, which means
And
it
then
was
before that
finite,
was smaller
which
again,
means
and
it wasn't
smaller again,
eternal,
and smaller
as you
again.
keep saying. There's no evidence you have that the universe was eternal because entropy wouldn't allow it. The
So
law.
have that.
Okay.
I'm not going to go into it because
Of course you wouldn't, because you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be.
But that's all your God.
You know, you said earlier. You said illogical. What you just said is illogical.
No,
that
not at
the universe is
But we have
eternal.
to use your
It's
logic
quantum field
when you're
theory that I
clearly
can't
irreligious.
You can't just throw words like quantum field theory and expect it to be eternal. No quantum field theory says it's eternal.
That Paul was an apostle, but
It's-
we've
it's-
now
Yeah.
come
We
to
have
this
been-
guy's
By the way, you know your earlier question that you didn't have a choice to come to this world. You don't have to worry about that. You know why? Because you already are
So
here.
he says that
Well, it's
basically
still
The
no
fact-
choice.
the fact that- The fact that you are here,
The point that I'm making that
as
you're not
a
really
gun to
addressing
your head,
is that it's
therefore
not a
free
free
will is
choice.
kind of not
it is.
real.
No.
It is. Once you're here, it is a free
You're
choice.
here, you haven't had the
Get
choice
out
that
of
you're
it
in.
without
You haven't got the
consequence.
choice
You
of
can't
who your
choose to say,
parents are.
"I'm out."
You haven't got a choice
Do
where
you know
you're
what I mean?
born
Which I-
to.
I
You
don't-
haven't
I
got
don't-
a
I
choice
don't really
which
get the
body
bad
you're in. You haven't got a choice about a whole load of things.
Okay, what would you have done?
No, wait.
Let me ask you a fair question. Yeah, I heard you. Let me ask you one question. Let's say you had a choice to come this world. Would you be a human or something else?
I've no idea.
Well, you're talking hypothetically, so I'm asking you a hypothetical
Would you
question.
like another
Yes?
viewpoint? This gentleman wanted to be involved somewhat. I've explained the
If you-
premise, and he said, "Nah."
Yeah, that's
He didn't
fine.
actually.
I want to know your question.
I wish
No, but it's
you had just got there. Then we'd
no.
have- we'd
You
have been
you
done.
talked a lot about free will. So I'm asking you, using your free will, what
I
would you,
haven't got free will.
no, from your perspective?
Yes, I haven't got free will.
So you're saying from your pantheistic perspective, you have no free will. So you're no different to us then. So why are you objecting all this time? I don't.
No,
So all of a sudden you're saying you have no free will even in your own worldview.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because in my own worldview,
After all that.
How can you choose to answer that question in the affirmative?
In my own worldview,
He's got no choice.
compared to your two worldviews,
Which
the
you know so well
difference
after 10
is
minutes.
that no one is to blame. That is the difference.
Everyone is to
What-
blame. That's the point. No,
What-
everyone is
so,
to blame from a
So let me get this right. You're telling.
Everyone's responsible,
So
but
you're.
no one's
Wait.
to blame.
Everybody's
You're
to
telling me that
blame.
if you commit a crime, you're not to be blamed?
Everyone's responsible.
Everybody sins against God.
No. Answer the question. If you commit a crime, are you to be blamed?
It depends who defines.
You.
It depends on who defines
Your
the crime.
definition
Okay.
of a crime.
Your definition.
Sherlock.
Do you know what? Wait. Do you know what a crime means?
Yes.
What is a crime?
Breaking the laws of the local country.
Yeah, and if you did that, would you be accountable?
I don't know because I may.
He doesn't know.
You see what I mean? That's a.
Accountable to a magistrate if
I
you're
go
caught.
to another country,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the laws of that country are.
No, but if you knew.
Ignorance is no
but
defense.
You're changing the.
I'm
And
not.
that's what God
I'm not.
says.
You define. I defined it as crime, and you gave me the definition as well.
So using your definition, are you accountable for your choices that led to the
It's
crime?
called nuance.
Okay, nuance. Let's see nuance.
No, it's called sarcasm.
Okay, using nuance. If you want to call it that, no problem. Let's say you went to a country.
Yeah.
Yes, any country you go, is murder wrong? Any country.
Are there any countries where it's
You're
legal?
broadening
Yeah.
Broadening it.
the issue.
No. You are.
You're
You know what you're doing.
obfuscating the
You.
issue.
Yeah, exactly. You are now trying to be. For some reason, you're trying to reject the
out.
obvious. You're completely rejecting what many consider to be obvious. For example, you don't even need to be in a country, any
To know
country,
that stealing is wrong.
even a person who has never come to a civilized world, who might be living in a forest somewhere, even they would know to take the life of another person is wrong instinctively.
Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters. Hope this video was helpful for you. This may help others too, so please consider sharing, and we will bring more videos in the future inshallah. So consider subscribing and you won't miss any. Jazakallahu khairan.